Rải bông nữa.
Dạ, nghe thương không?
Chạy thấy bà anh đó. Thấy bà chị là
gathered here today to celebrate the joining of these two lives. This ceremony today is a worship service. We're here to worship God and to celebrate with the bride and the groom as they embark on the adventure of marriage. So let's pray for them. Dear God, we pray that you would watch over this couple and this family as they continue their lives together. Be with them in every step of the way. Continue in their love, with patience, humility, and friendship as they continue to grow and praise you. Who gets this woman?
I do.
David, do you take ChanLa as your wife and promise to love her, support her, cherish her, and be patient with her for all of your life? If so, answer right here. ChanLa, do you take David as your husband and promise to love him, support him, cherish him, and be patient with him for all of your life? If so, answer right here.
I do.
Now, David and ChanLa, this is the part where I get to give you a charge for your marriage. And this is the fun part for me because I asked you to give me some highlights of your relationship. Some things that really kind of define what makes you both really unique and what brings you together really as a couple. Now, one of the things that you both mentioned was fishing. Fishing is an important part of your lives for sure. But in truth, I think that it's an irony a little bit that when we talk about love and relationships, that we oftentimes compare it to fishing. You know, when we find somebody that is the one we want to be with for the rest of our lives, we say it's a great catch. We finally found the right one. And when we lose somebody, we say things like, well, there's other fish in the pond. So it's a little ironic that you went with the fishing stories. But in truth, this is a love story. This is a story about love. And the scriptures talk a lot about love. And in Corinthians, it talks about love specifically being patient, kind, and humble. Those three adjectives are the first three adjectives that are described in Scripture when they talk about the importance of love. And I think that it's important for all of us if we understand what love is, if we understand what those three elements are. Now, one of the major things in our language is that word love, but in the days of the Bible, when they wrote that stuff, they had different words for that. They actually had three major words that described love. The first one was friendship, and they used the word philo, or raya. This is the love where you enjoy just spending time together. And this type of love, this is where your friendship grows. So in your case, this is those times where you go camping together, where you go fishing, where you love those experiences that you have as a family and just with each other. And there's no doubt in your stories as you told them to me that that was evidence. You could see that in everyday life with you, how you just really love each other as friends. The next kind of love is dode or eros. This is the part of love that's romantic. This is the part of love that's built on our attraction for each other. Now, each of you have qualities in the other one that you see that make you very attractive to one another. David, ChanLa described you, and when she described you, she really picked out character traits. She looked at you and she said that some of the most attractive things about you was how you cared for her. And she told a story about how you would go fishing and you would make sure that she had a lot of food and a comfortable seat, because nobody likes a crabby, hungry woman without fishing trip. That's one of the things that makes you so attractive to her, that you care about her and you do everything you can to make that known to her. Now, ChanLa, David described you as very beautiful, almost as if it was love at first sight. When he first met you, he was taken back by your beauty. And though he didn't date you until after you had to fix your tire, your beauty stood out for him from the very first day he met you. That's how dode and eros is defined in the Bible. It's love that's built on that kind of attraction. Now, the third one, and oftentimes considered the most important one, is a brotherhood or loyalty kind of love. This is called ahava in Hebrew, or agape in the Greek. This is a committed love. This is the love that says, no matter what happens, I'm going to be here. No matter how bad it gets, I will be there with you. This is the love that you're both expressing today. You're expressing in these vows, in front of all of these people, that we have all three of these loves, and we want everybody to know it. This is the love that is most frequently expressed in your relationship as well. Every time you go fishing together, David sacrifices his desires to catch big fish and to just focus on that in order to make sure you're comfortable taken care of. And every time you could sleep in until 5 a.m., you get up at 4 a.m. to make sure he has breakfast ready for him to start his day. It's that kind of sacrifice that makes a marriage and a relationship truly last. Ahava, or agape, is the most difficult part of love because it requires the most patience. And that's what we see in Scripture. It's no coincidence that when Scripture talks about love, the first adjective it uses is patient. The second is kind. And the third is that it's not proud or that it's humble. Now, the hard part of this is that over the next 90 years of your marriage, for some of us it feels longer than that, you're going to feel at times as one or two or three, or that one or two of those types of love isn't really there anymore. Maybe it's lost some luster, it's dwindling. People change. People mess up and make mistakes. Everyone goes through ups and downs. But this is where we see the true definition of love as the unity between those three things come together. There are things that love does. It's patient, it's kind, it always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, and it always perseveres. And there are things it doesn't do. It's not jealous, it's not boastful or proud, it doesn't dishonor others, it's not selfish or easily angered. And the most important thing, I think, is that it keeps no record of wrongs. It is forgiving. Now, most importantly, the final line in the love chapter in the Bible is that love never fails. Love never quits. Love never loses. When it seems like your relationship can't survive, when things are tough, it is important that you remember what love is. And what you can do best is to be patient with each other, to be humble to each other, and to be kind to one another. And with that, let's exchange our vows. David, repeat after me. I, David,
I, David,
take you, ChanLa,
take you, ChanLa,
to be my wife,
to be my wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
for sickness or and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
until we are separated by death.
till we are separated by death.
ChanLa, repeat after me. I, ChanLa,
I, ChanLa,
take you, David,
take you, David,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
until we are separated by death.
until we are separated by death.
Now do you have a token to represent these vows? Uh-oh. David, repeat after me. With this ring,
With this ring,
I seal my promise
I seal my promise
to be your loving and faithful husband.
to be your loving and faithful husband.
ChanLa, repeat after me. With this ring,
With this ring,
I seal my promise
I seal my promise
to be your loving and faithful wife.
to be your loving and faithful wife.
Well, you guys are pretty much done. The only thing that's left is for me to actually pronounce you. So we can stay here to stand for a while longer. It's my honor to be the first to introduce Mr. and Mrs. David Frederickson.
Bà già quá, bà già quá.
Families of the